And we're bold and beautiful. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. I wanted to the title I put down for this message that I feel is really important. I'd been talking about it for the past 2 days on Instagram. Oh, I got some echo, sorry. All right. First and foremost, I've got 2 things that I wrote down. You can see these. Develop skills that can't be taken away. Develop skills that can't be taken away. For instance, the quantity of your life can be changed, right? What you have can be lessened. But when you look around at the world, a lot of people don't have a lot. And somehow they still find laughter and humor and love. And really, we've been set apart in the United States for the most part. The majority of us, I'd say 95% of everyone in the United States has a much better life than, say, the average person in Cambodia or Ghana or in maybe Honduras. And that's why people are coming in across the border in droves. Well, one of the reasons. Because they hear about our quality of life. And I think that that quality is very deceiving. Because we've associated quality with quantity. So the quantity of our life has been phenomenal, right? We've consumed, we've created, we've erected, we have built a lot. And we're all part of it. It doesn't matter race, color, creed. If you've been part of the country, you're part of it. And to claim any kind of deniability is a moot point. So if people are coming here for what they perceive to be a dream, they're coming for opportunity. But opportunity might be an illusion. Like I spoke about, like when you go to the grocery store. You have all these things at your fingertips, right? You have all these fruits from all over the world. You don't know how they got there. You don't know who grew them. You don't know who picked them. You don't know who planted them. But you eat them. And we all do. I do as well. There is a missing ingredient in that, in the order of things. And I think that that's why we're all kind of having this missing moment in our mind, this emptiness, right? There's a little piece of, or a sliver in so many people that is empty. And have you ever wondered, have you ever tried to take account for that? Why do I feel this void? Why do I feel like I'm looking through a fractal and like looking out the window of a house? If you've ever felt that way, you know what I'm talking about. And I think that, where we are going to find our greatest strength isn't in quantity. It's in the quality. For instance, we can associate quantified or quantity-related foods like McDonald's or fast foods or chips or things that are produced in mass quantity and produced, right? Boxed. Versus organic, hand-grown, pesticide-free, people-oriented products like you go to the farmer's market if you have one. A lot different when you can put a face and a name with what's known. Now that is the place where power exists, because it's the power of opening your perception. It's going past the illusion. So when I go through the veil, right, if I go to the store and I buy pineapples or oranges or a box of crackers, I'm participating, I'm digitizing myself, I'm participating in the matrix because, like so many, I've started to adhere to quantity, to the mass consumption, to the media, to all the outlets that identify with everything being a number or a code. Barcodes. So we're all digitizing. When we go there, we're getting scanned, we're scanning items, we're paying with digital dollars. We don't know any kind of, like, we're not even touching money for the most part. So we're really stripping away one of the greatest reasons why we came to this planet. I watched this beautiful video by Red Elk where he talks about the earth and man and what the U.S. was like before people started coming here. Just a very soothing voice, right? Such a soothing voice. Like my mentor, Alberto Villoldo. Very soothing, just beautiful to listen to. And I had this perception. We lived in the survival state in a lot of ways in those primitive years. But there was so much passion. It was primal. It was engaged. It was completely accessing a multidimensional perception. Now think of this. If my phone is a flat plane, if my phone is a black mirror, a scrying tablet, connects to the other side, but it's at what cost? So to have this mini computer in my hand, I have so much information and access to so much information. But how much information do you need for your day? Do you really need to know what's happening in Italy right now? Do you really need to know the net worth of, say, Hugh Jackman right now? No. But for some reason we do. And for some reason they want to digitize us so that all of that information is running through our veins. Literally. That's a new form of slavery. And for those of you that don't see that, you've been digitized very deeply already. So if I were living long ago and in a village or a tribe, and I were to pick up my spear to go hunt for food for my family, for my people, for my community, I left that moment with the awareness that I may not be walking home, because there's a lot of levels in life that come alive, right? You could be going hunting and become the hunted very quickly, because you live very at one with the land. So you're very accustomed and you're very intimate with life. You see death on a daily basis, but in a way that is organic and unseasoned. It's not death that is like, think of like when you see death on the news, it's very seasoned, right? It's got the garnishes that will get you to feel that that energy that this inorganic entity eats, right? And when you feel that oneness, where you know, wait, okay, so I'm going to go find food for my family. I could become food. And when you get home with that food, you're so thankful that not only did you find food to feed your family, you're thankful for the animal that fell for you, or whatever you were able to bring home, and you were happy to be home. How many people do you know aren't even happy to be home? How many people do you know go home as an empty shell because their soul or what they're seeing is somewhere else? They're idolizing something, they're stuck in a porn hole, They're stuck in a twin flame situation. They're stuck idolizing something else. They're stuck at a basketball game. They don't go home. They don't go to the park. They don't go to the beach. They don't go to get food. They go to the doorway and open the sliding door and pull out a digitized experience. I think I'm running a little slow, right? So, hopefully this translates good. What I'm really bringing forward is the message of liberation in a way that we're not necessarily used to. Like Hexagram 40 is the theme going forward. And it's about the root chakra and the crown chakra. And about the disparity in between those. And the neglect of all those chakras that are in that space between. You see, just like walking up the stairs, I go ba-boom, 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 ba-boom to get to the next level. In order to get upstairs, I have to walk from up one floor to the next floor. In theory. There's always a finger pointer out there that's like, no you don't. So as I walk from that space, I am becoming aware of what I am in the world. We have so many systems in place now, like your GPS. When your phone tells you where to go and you trust it, when you see something on the internet and it says Evander Holyfield is worth this much and you trust it, when you see cases are rising and you trust it, it's as equal to going to the store and looking at a box and believing it's low fat, and that is your freedom to be at the best shape of your life. That low fat food is so high in sodium and so many other additives, you'll never be low fat selecting that food. Because it's so toxic. Your body will inflame so much to fight it. When it comes to the CV, 1984, it's not that deadly. What's deadly is the way we've lived, disconnected. We've disconnected ourselves, and we're continuing to disconnect ourselves even further. And that is the secret, right? If we develop skills, first off, if you develop your senses, those can't be taken away. If you develop your brain, that isn't taken away unless it's through death. If you develop a skill to grow food, or to track, or to do it, to know how to start a fire, whatever it might be, those things you keep, like surfing, but a skill. When you develop a natural skill that is the continuation of your future, you're projecting into the future. And right now, I feel that it's very important to not project fear into the future. We can formulate the future from a place of observation, but not a place of obstinance. So when I see people having to present their passports or their UPC code in France, those people that present it willingly, I don't feel for. I'm sorry. I don't need to feel for them. People that are getting, and here's what I'm tired of as well, the shaming because I am not taking this particular shot, because I'm not anti the vaccines, unless the last name is Waters. But I'm not. I got one before my surgery. I am anti anything that is coerced, forced, or not transparent. I'm not going to be date raped by the discord of a political system voluntarily. And that's where I stand on that, because we don't even know when somebody's like, it's safe and free. That's like saying crossing the 405 at 5 o'clock is safe and free. Well, it could be if no cars are coming, but you could cross it and get hit and killed still. So there's still a risk, there's still a chance. And I don't have my informed consent if I don't have that information, and you can't provide me the information because they don't have it yet. There's no trials. Wait, no, there is a trial, and we're in it. There's no animal studies. And the irony is that if animals were being used in these studies, so many people would be upset that animals were dying. But yet then they'll allow them to be injected at the zoo. So that's the other thing that really shows me that we're being digitized right now. Because there's so much conflicting information overlapped that the double standards and the hypocrisy are at the base core of what's being sold to me. And I am, even a child could cut through that. So I'm willing, very willing to let you take that walk off the plank and try your luck at swimming 30 miles to shore, for sure. But the boat, in my mind, doesn't have a hole in it. It's floating, so I'm not going to force myself off of it in a life raft when I'm fine. So, outside of that concept, in that conversation, we need to really buckle down and focus on how to form a future. And I think it's important. We need to all start really thinking about the future. We're thinking about the present very intently, and the present continues to repeat as long as the present is our only pathway. Because the present that we're facing right now is the gathering of the past. We have to think two things. We have to form our perception in a way that we're not fighting for what we lost, but we're moving forward to what we want, to what we need. Because what's lost is dead. Tomorrow is another day. Yesterday is dead. So we're not fighting for the old world. We're not fighting for the old Constitution. We're not fighting for the old Second Amendment. We're fighting for the new Second Amendment, the new First Amendment. We're fighting for the new Constitution. We're fighting for the new country. We're fighting for the new earth. We're fighting for the new community. And we're not fighting, we're forming it. And how do we form it? We don't necessarily fight. We move forward as a group, very unified, effectively, putting people in place that are representing that forward momentum. Selecting places and people and products and how we perceive our life. We start creating the world that we want to live in. This is how countries were formed, right? This is how Kattegat went into and became Denmark, for those of you that like the Vikings, right? We need to think like Ragnar right now. Not like King Harold. We're not fighting for the past. We're moving towards the future. So let us take on the spirit of Ragnar Rothbrook. Let us take on the ability to develop skills which can't be taken away from us. Let's move to places that will not fall. Let's build a wall between us and the people that don't want to be with us. That's fine. We don't even have to build it. They'll build it for us. Let's move and migrate. Let's not be afraid to leave. I love California, and I'm not going to hold the line and stay here trying to revive and hold on to a past. I'm ready to move to the future, wherever that will be, however that will go. Mexico, Portugal, wherever that ends up, that is where I will go, and I will go completely. I will go and be present, and I'm already there halfway now, because I'm manifesting it even by just forming this message. The other part of the message I wanted to say, and I said this before, if you made bliss your brass ring, you know how they say, like, when you reach for the brass ring, what if you were just reaching for bliss? Not big bank accounts, not buildings, not cars, but beauty and the beauty of life and death and the interaction of reality. So what's happening right now? Have you ever had one of those dreams that was just really wild and you wanted to not wake up, so you tried to go back to sleep to get in it, and it was so impossible and you couldn't? That's where we're at right now. We're trying to go to put ourselves back to sleep, but we already woke up, and even though we want to jump back in the dream, you just can't do it. So what do? You dream a new dream. It's very important, because the energy that is eating our emotional energy, the dark inorganic, you want to call them hyperdimensionals? You want to call them metaphysicals? It doesn't matter. You want to call them angels or demons? It doesn't matter. They are living off of us, and they have been for a long time, and now they're just starting to come around. People are just starting to see them. People are trying to say that these are aliens, and well, they are, because they're alien to us, but we see in such a, I mean, even look at, like, when we go to the store, we don't see Chilean oranges in the person that picked them. It's not in our perception. We're not watching the person that, we don't, when you pick up that box of Wheaties, other than seeing Bruce Jenner's face on it, you don't see who packed it, who processed it, who drove it to the store. You don't even see the clerk who's counting the boxes and putting them out. I mean, the thing is that we do not live in reality. So it's very easy to manipulate us. It's very easy for our reality to shift in a second by a button being pressed, or a news broadcast going out, or a politician throwing out some kind of programming. Very easy. Most of the people that are pro politics and all these other things, they live in a very strong illusion. They live in a very strong illusion. You know you're not living in an illusion? When you're chopping your own wood, when you are planting your own corn, when you are canning your own string beans, when you are basically making your own herbal remedies to cure your poison ivy, when you're pulling a splinter out of your own leg, when you're walking down a trail and you stop and there's a grizzly bear and you got to grab your gun and you pray to God it doesn't come your way. Those are the moments that you really know what reality looks like. And this is why animals are so much more advanced than us in a lot of ways, and this is why our illusion invades their space. This is why we're working against the earth, not with the earth. Because the earth operates in reality. We've created illusion around it. And now we want to up the illusion to inorganic travel, to robotics, to all these other things. And that's not the answer. The age of Aquarius isn't about mechanical technology. It may be falsified for the first few years of the age of Aquarius, but I promise you, when we're hip deep in it, you'll encounter this either in this lifetime or the next. It will become the garden of reality. We will become what we were meant to be after we break away and build reality from a new resonance and let go of the old. Let us let go of what these people are afraid to die from. So I have no fear of death, but I do not desire it, right? So let's get that right and straight on that one. And I understand that. I also understood when I had the CV, when I got it, I was one of the first people to get it, and that I knew, March 26th, 2020. So I was overweight, was not sleeping, had done ayahuasca, had gone through a stent helping someone pass away, was traveling, was not eating properly. A lot of things weren't in my favor when I got it. So I got it really bad because I wasn't doing my work physically. Emotionally and spiritually, I was on. I was still coming from ayahuasca, and she told me, everything you've constructed is an illusion. She's like, I don't mean to bitch slap you, but you created an illusion. Your life, illusion. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, because it's not real. You don't even know how to make a shirt. You don't even know that the shoes, where your shoes came from. You think they came from a store. You don't see the child that made your shoes in a factory in China. We overlook so much, and then we argue a point that's moot, and we take on this double standard of hypocrisy to point a finger, because in our hearts we all know that we're so disconnected from reality, we don't know really right or wrong or what way to go. And it's very humbling now. And now I understand when Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth. Now I know what he means. It's a very humbling experience to come back to reality. Try starting a fire with 2 sticks. See how that reality works out. Naked and afraid or survivor. Come back to reality and see. And that's not even reality. That's just a perception of reality. That's as close as we've gotten, really. So when you start looking at these ways, like even ayahuasca said, I wasn't breathing. And she said, you don't need to breathe to be in your body. I was like, well, yes, I do. And she said, why? I said, because it puts oxygen through my blood. She goes, well, who do you think built your blood? Who do you think keeps you in your body? What do you think keeps your spirit what keeps your soul under your shirt? Your breath? Do you think you're smart enough to keep your soul inside of your skin? No, it's me, God source. I allow you to be in your body so that you might find the same kind of love that I do when it comes to creating and manifesting, to collaborate with reality and allow duality to do its thing so that you can be one with nature, one with the world, one with all things. And I was like, wow, that's pretty intense. And when I came out, I was like, man, I just want to run naked through the jungle and just throw everything off and leave and not look back. You know? But then you get to this place, and the seduction is so great. Society has laid it out so well. The inorganic beings that will make themselves known next year are so smooth. And here's the one thing that I do know. They can utilize positivity or love or other things as well for energy. It's just that the mass of bloodshed and anger is so powerful and volatile, it makes the most energy. So they're just being energy efficient. Plus, too, I think they get off on it. But, you know, that's in a particular plane. But God has paved a way. God has given us the answer, the ending already. And I'm not quoting from the Bible. I'm not going to church in that kind of way. I have been. I was studying to be a pastor at one point on my journey. But I'm not doing that now. I'm in the trenches now, right? I put my sandals on and I'm following on those sandy streets that Jesus followed. Away from the walls. Away from the noise of people that know everything. I'm walking the the path where the people need it. And I have to think in this energy that we're experiencing right now, the fear is misplaced. The fear isn't of COVID. The fear is of living an unfinished life. The fear is knowing that you haven't taken care of yourself. The fear is that you never took that leap of faith. The fear is that you never found your way. You never found your voice. The fear is that you failed. And you're fixated on it. The fear is that you've lived a life in fantasy and you never got to feel it. You never got to touch it. You never got to squeeze it, to hold it, to taste it. The fear isn't of COVID. I've died twice, I can tell you. There's no eye-opening awakening when you're sitting there on a ventilator because you're actually in a coma. So some of the things we've seen are an illusion as well. The fear that's being projected and profited on and pushed on us is an indoctrination of failure, of not going for bliss as your brass ring, for setting your sights on externalized, empty possessions, on quantity, not quality, for living a fast food lifestyle, for not treating yourself the way you should, for not loving the people that you should, for not going to meet that girl or guy that asked you out and you regretted it, right? So really it's a culmination of the things you didn't do that are causing you to be afraid of death. You're not afraid of, because imagine whether it was COVID or whether it was the flu or whether it was the plague or whether it was you got hit by a dump truck, you're going to be just as afraid of death as you are of that. So the problem is that people are fixating on an enemy of their failure. They're fixated on the frequency that they have failed, or that they didn't find everything they wanted, they didn't get everything they wanted done, they didn't live the life they wanted to, they've been living subpar, they've been living a life and losing every opportunity. They haven't tasted life because the mind has been swept into this seductive illusion that you need a lot of things to have a good life. That's why you see riots happening and people running in and burning buildings, stealing fucking TVs and shoes. I thought you're telling me that you're pushed down and you're standing for your intelligence and the right to education, but you're stealing fucking shoes. That doesn't make sense. Those two things don't line up. It's like the Oregon governor passing a law that says, well, minorities can't pass college, so I'm going to remove the test. And that's supposed to not be racist? What's that bitch thinking? Everybody is smart. Your color doesn't make you a particular level of intelligence for sure. I've got friends that I know that are all colors that are so much smarter than me, much more talented, much smarter, some a lot better looking, and I'm okay. And it's like, man, where are we right now? We're stuck, right? We're stuck in this death spiral because we're more afraid to die than we are to live. So we're going to point fingers at people that are going to bring death to our door because we're so terrified. So the thing is, if you're not taking care of yourself, you need to change that. We need to build a future. To build the future, we have to have a foundation. Like Jesus was talking about, you have to build your house on a rock, not on sand. Social media is sand. right? Politics, sand. I'm going to give you a 60-cent tax per gallon on gas, sand. I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy food until there's no toilet paper on the shelf, and then I'm going to stab somebody for some toilet paper, sand. I'm going to learn to live off grid. I'm going to learn to live with my neighbors. I'm going to learn to love my neighbors. I'm going to learn to talk to my neighbors. I'm going to learn to ask, hey, how are you doing today? I'm going to learn what's going on in my world. I'm going to know who grows my vegetables because I'm going to buy them at the local place. I'm going to know where my eggs came from. That is when reality is real. When you're really here, people can't sway you and lie to you. People can't make you afraid of death because you know what death looks like. You're in reality, right? You don't just suddenly know death when you go to a funeral for somebody that you didn't really know that well, or when you're chronically ill because of the choices that you make. And your chronic illness that I don't have should not dictate what I need to do with my body. And I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm saying this just to lay this out, because we're making a plan for the future. And that plan has to be very proactive. It has to be very hands-on. It has to be inclusive. It has to be equal. And you know what? I think that, yeah, I want everybody. I don't care what your sex is. I don't care who you have sex with. I don't care what your color is. If you can carry water from the well, and if you can chop wood, and if you can make a shirt, and if you can help me hunt, and if you can do these things great and good, or if you're just willing to learn, fucking, you're perfect. I love you. You're perfect. You're fucking fantastic. Right? Because when you are real, and you really are here, and you know the reality of life and death, right? And I'm not talking about duck and drive-bys. I'm talking about the reality, the cycle of life. See, we're so detached. We live in such a dead world that we only see living things on our phone or our screen. When's the last time you went to the beach and just laid there and listened? When's the last time you walked into a park by yourself? When is the last time you sat in a drum circle? Sounds crazy, stupid. No, I go to church, I don't do that. When's the last time you sat in a circle with a group of people around a campfire and said, hey, this is fucking fantastic? Now, the people that are sitting here with me probably have. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person that will find this at some point in our path. So these are the things that we need to start amping up towards. These are the beautiful things, the parts of life that can't be taken. Nobody can take your skill. They can take your life, for sure. But they're going to take your life a lot more quickly if you offer it up through ignorance. When I eat at McDonald's, I'm offering my life up through ignorance. When I take medication that has more warnings on it than it does good things, I'm offering up my life through ignorance. When I go to the doctor to get a pill because I have high blood pressure, but I could just walk 10,000 steps a day for the next 10 months and cut back on my diet and my blood pressure would drop, I'm going to the doctor and taking pills out of ignorance, either self-inflicted or cultural. People aren't poor because they're stupid. People are poor because they are not being culturally educated in the proper natural law. So I think that those are the areas that we can start to target. That's the things that this is starting to move us into. And I'm not going to be waving a flag. I'm not going to be standing in a protest unless somebody's walking down my street. I would rather stand on the side of a mountain and start plowing. Let me start making terraces and planting tomatoes. That's how I'm going to protest. Because that's what life is. I don't want to live death anymore. I don't want to fight death with death. I don't want to fight. See, that's what war is. We are fighting death with death. We're not fighting for life. We're fucking fools to think we're fighting for life. When the military goes to Afghanistan to free people, you're fucking killing people. And those same people that can kill those people can kill these people. You're not fighting for freedom for any fucking person. Nobody in Afghanistan is coming here and hurting us. It's an illusion, it's a lie, and we've allowed it to happen for too long because we live in a surreal world. We live in a world where we think the cell phone is real. People live in a world where they think that they're having a relationship with somebody that they've never met and never even gotten acknowledgement from. I coach people that they thought that this lady thought she was having a relationship with Vin Diesel. And she was almost suicidal, crying because he wasn't calling her. I was like, he didn't even fucking know you. Now, there are instances where that's not so. You don't need to, there's a lot, we can use technology in certain ways. But I'm talking about the extreme. I'm talking about when you walk into a store, you buy produce, you don't know where it's from, you don't know what's on it, you don't know who wiped their shitty hands on it, you don't know who pissed on your produce, you don't know if that produce even has any nutrients. You don't know who grew it. How much more golden would that produce be if you knew who grew it? And I know I sound like a Little House on the Prairie right now, but I'm telling you, we are living below the standard of being alive. This is a tool to tie you into a matrix, right? I will say one thing. We're going to get to a day where we will find out that this and this are the same. This is a monkey could work. This only a master can work. Monkey, master. Same. A tool for technological advancement that holds information. Same thing, monkey, master. Because only the master knows how to make this work for them, right? So the beauty of all this is we have an opportunity. We're being given a gold platter opportunity here. It's never going to get any better. We weren't going to wake up on our own. We weren't going to jump out of bed. The alarm is yelling house is on fire. We weren't going to move out unless we were forced. So we're moving out of the matrix, and I think it's great. I think it's necessary, and whoever wants to stay in the matrix, fuck them. Seriously. If you want to stay in the house while it's burning, go for it. I'm not. I will say a prayer for you as you pass into the next world and you reincarnate and do it all again, but I'm not going to upset myself because you don't want to listen. You want to listen to everything that is an illusion. You do not want to listen to reality. You'll trust a Pinocchio that is a personality for a moment rather than trusting sticking your hands in the dirt and knowing who grew something. You see, our fathers, our ancient fathers. So the Great Mother is the nurturing source, the birthplace. Grandfather is the fire, is the force that brings the rain, brings the knowledge. So we lived in a cyclical world where we could appreciate what reality was, where we knew what life was. We knew the scope of life. And if we died, it was still a good day. We would mourn and we would allow death to continue. But we did not fear death because we were not disconnected. We knew that we went beyond this realm. We carried the sage words and advice and the rituals that were handed down to us from centuries and centuries and centuries of ancient thinkers that knew reality, not the matrix. If you want to be a number, stay in the matrix. If you want to be a number, take a number. If you want to have reality, And reality means it's going to be rough, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be tasty, it's going to take balls, it's going to be good, but it's going to also grow you. You know? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The zombies will fall because, like even in The Walking Dead, the zombies will run out of food if we stop feeding them. Again, and think of it, even to be anti this, people are like, oh, well, it's Trump. It's I don't fucking like Trump. I'm not, my reason for not getting this has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with not being a chump, because I know that something is wrong, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of scientists and doctors that support that. You've got more doctors and scientists that support not that something's off rather than something's on. And you've got, I look at it like this. Johnson & Johnson couldn't even get baby powder right. Baby powder was killing people. And you want me to put something in that you just whipped up out of your fucking asshole? Are you serious? Zantac was fucking causing huge tumors in people's tummies. And you were pumping that shit like it was like Christmas fucking candy in a stocking. And you want me to suck off the teat of you telling me this is good? No, 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 no. Come find me, fall on my chest, and make me get it. Because then you will take my soul in that space with you through eternity. And you may not have to negotiate with it now, but you will at some point. I'm doing it right now so I don't have to keep doing it over and over, because I know that I'm ready to transcend. I'm ready to realize that. And it's right here. It always has been. You just have to be willing to let go of the illusion. That's so good, though. So tasty. Like, imagine how good an apple tastes. I've grown apples and I've worked on a farm and stuff. And I'll tell you what, man, I grew the best fucking blueberries you'd ever seen. And when I ate those blueberries, I was like, oh, damn, that's my blueberries. I'm telling you. It feels good to be real. It feels good to be one with God. God lives in a multidimensional aspect, and if you've trained yourself to live in a two-dimensional aspect, you've actually downgraded from 3D. That's why they're digitizing you. Don't fall like the Carpathians, my friends. So that is the energy update for tonight. Develop the skills that can't be taken away and make bliss your brass ring. It definitely is wired into your immunity. I like that. How do I say that? Psychoneuroimmunology. Yeah, I can't say it because I'm dyslexic, but I definitely like that. Mystic medicine. Love that. It's a start, though. I tried, and I will learn to do better. And that's all we're doing. We're just learning as we go. Hey, Lenny girl. Sweet sunshine, my tomatoes turned into sun-dried tomatoes. Yeah, I've had that happen, too. It's why we're here. It's really why we're here. And I enjoy this. I really do. I think that we're all on the precipice of something phenomenal. And let's don't get fearful thinking that, oh, well, I can't get on a plane or I can't go to the Starbucks. Don't give in. Hold strong. Don't give in because Food Lion won't let you in. Somebody will. You know what? The farmer's market's not going to ask for your barcode because they don't even ask for your dollar. They want your cash. They don't want your charge card. Go to where cash is king and get cash. Stop doing digital transactions. This is why they wanted us this is why they wanted you to pay with your phone. This is why they wanted you to have a chip on your card. Go get cash right now if you have it. Even if you don't. If you got a charge card, just go get cash off of it and you keep cash. You pay for cash because cash is something different. And cash brings us back to at least a pseudo sort of reality. Go get cash. Keep that cash. Get gold, get silver, something that's transmissible, that's money that you can hold. Bitcoin, I don't know about. I'm not going to digitize myself anymore. I understand the whole thing with Bitcoin, but it's still an illusion. I don't really want to grow in that game. But I will say, go to where you're treated best. Go to where people will. And you know what? Even if it means you got to leave your city, it wasn't a loss. If your city doesn't love you, if your state, like California, Governor fucking annoying Newsom, if you think that you're not loved where you live, move. Don't pound yourself into the ground because people don't love you, don't support you, and won't allow you to at least be seen. You know, they pulled the swine flu 1976 vaccine off of the shelf because 56 people died. Do you really think that less than 56 people have died from this? And I'm not promoting fear. I'm promoting common sense and just to stand in your game, to stand in your solidity, to go where you feel secure. Stop arguing with the people. Like if your family's not on board, love them for that. Stand in your frequency. Don't fall, even if it means you got to move forward in a way you hadn't imagined. Because nothing has been how we've imagined, because our imagination was hijacked. Our reality was hijacked. And we were grafted into an illusion. And now they're wanting to up that game to digitization. So that's why they're trying to remove our sex, remove our pronouns, so that we can jump into the game. I think everybody's seen The Matrix, right? To be honest, I'm really ready to be so close to nature, so close to people that know what nature is, so close to people that are really seeking spiritual awakening, right? I feel like perhaps like maybe some of the people, like the Amish, whoever it was, that came over with some corrupt sponsored people on boats from England, but there were people that came over here with pure intent to start something new, because they were persecuted from where they were, and they wanted an opportunity to live a free life, and that's freedom, right? Nobody here has freedom the moment you force someone to do something against their will. So the argument for anything is actually over at that point. I believe we won't, because I believe that in the heart of most people is fucking kindness, and I believe goodness lives. I think that we've grafted it out and we've gotten a little bit distant from it because of the illusion. But I think when we start seeing some of the things that will transpire, it will raise the eye in us to look for truth. We'll all have to come back to reality one way or another. We all meet reality one way or another. That last moment before you die, reality so fucking real. And pardon me for dropping F-bombs, but I enjoy it. It makes me feel good, so God doesn't mind, because God doesn't really have to use our language to light it up. So this is the energy for what's going forward. This is how we're going to be exercising it. This is what's transpiring. This is the information that I was given to share. If it hits home, so be it. If it hits a nerve, it hits a nerve. If you feel like you want to share this, please do so. If you want and you need help or coaching, I will dial down the rate. If you feel that you are just out on a limb and you just want somebody to listen and to help you put things together, we got to stand together, you know.